1,000 laughs over a weekend of swell. Vail Comedy Festival. Pet an alpaca or hike a trail. Memorial Day weekend.
Hey everybody, we're back with another episode of Live from Vail Comedy Festival. I'm Mark Masters. This is AJ Finney. How are you, man?
How are you? I'm doing great.
Where the heck are you right now?
I am in Tampa, Florida right now at the
Far away.
Yeah.
Doing some comedy this weekend?
Yeah, I'm at Side Splitters Comedy Club this weekend. So
that's awesome, man. Hardest
it
working.
is very warm here. Like when I wake
man.
up, it's like 80 already.
I gotta drive to Arizona next week. I'm not really looking forward to that.
Wow, what part of Arizona?
It's gonna be hot. I'm gonna be at Stir Crazy Comedy Club in Glendale. Okay. Yeah. Looking forward to it.
Wonderful.
I'm gonna be in Albuquerque as well. Nobody's gonna see this in time for that.
Yeah.
But, come on out to Albuquerque.
Yeah, find a time and come back and see us.
Yes, exactly. All right, well let's talk about the Vail Comedy Festival, which is every Memorial Day weekend. Let's start easy softball. How did you first hear about the Vail Comedy Festival? Do you remember?
I feel like Steve Gillespie actually might have said something about it.
Oh, okay. He did the monthly comedy show. That makes sense. We took good care of him. So.
And then from there I found out, and then I did some research about it and just saw everyone kind of going up there, and it piqued my interest. I remember when I was with you at the Black Buzzard with
Mary Mack?
No, not Mary Mack. I think it was Amy.
Amy Miller. Right.
Amy Miller. Yeah. I had mentioned it. I was like, hey, I heard about this festival and how is it? And so I was already diving prior to submitting.
Nice. Well, we're glad you applied. You got in. You're local to Colorado, so pretty easy to get to Vail, but can you describe for the viewers how you got up to the Vail Comedy Festival?
Yeah. We drove up I-70.
Pretty simple. It's a straight shot. 100 miles. Denver to Vail.
Picked up Zach Moss, the co-host of the Hippie Not Hippie podcast, and we drove up really early that morning.
Nice.
And man, we got there just in time to start. We had about an hour or so before our first episode.
So AJ's one half of the Hippie Not Hippie podcast, which is this is the first year we had a podcast partner, and you guys taped 4 live episodes at 10th Mountain Whiskey. Shout out to them. They're the best. And I've watched 1.5 of them so far. I got to see some. They're good, man. They're really interesting. Like, everybody stop what you're doing right now. Look up Hippie Not Hippie Pod on YouTube. Give them a subscribe and start watching those Vail Comedy Festival episodes, because they're bangers. We got every headliner of the festival to participate, and other very funny comedians as well. So.
Yeah, it was also fun. Gosh, I hope I don't forget this guy. I think his name was Tom, the bartender.
Yeah, Tom. Yeah, at 10th Mountain.
He ended up with a guest appearance as sometimes the bits would get too far left field, and Tom would walk by and go, next bit. And we'd be like, we just started calling him Tom the Bouncer.
He's the content moderator.
Yeah, it was great. And everyone had a really good time. Every guest we had blended in really well and just took the reins with it.
That's so cool. And you had live audiences as well.
Yeah, that was the last one. We had the most interactive live audience where they started to kind of get involved and throw questions out, and that is the best.
Yeah, that's so great. That's so cool. So okay, so you roll into town. You scramble to set up the live podcast taping. Yeah. And right there in the village, and then eventually you must make your way to some kind of lodging. Where were you staying during the fest?
Yes. So
I think it was the Evergreen Lodge, if that helps.
Evergreen Lodge is where I checked in.
Okay.
But then the first night I had definitely crashed with Zach at the Manor. And that was because the intent was that we would work on and set up things for the pod the next day. So we kind of had a little bit of an idea of what we were diving into, since we knew the setup, the location, and how we could play with everything.
And that must have worked, because I heard such positive feedback about the second day's episodes. That is particularly the 4th one. Your last one, I haven't watched it yet, but it's supposed to be incredible. Really good.
So that one should be coming out this Wednesday. So that one will drop Wednesday.
Oh, nice. Cool. I got a lot of I'm driving like 24 hours listen to them.
Yeah, that one was one of the funnest. I mean, honestly, they were all super fun and unique in their own way. The very first one was super fun too. The first and the last were a couple of my favorites, just with the way the energy worked. The second one we did, the Wellbutrin that I had taken and the amount of caffeine I had done had pinged me so bad that when we started, I was like vibrating. And I think it was like just all the caffeine, lack of sleep, and altitude that halfway through the episode, I looked at Zach and he goes, I could tell you were kind of hitting the wall.
Well, pretty impressive, because I'm pretty sure I saw you like midnight that night, still out.
Oh yeah.
Pretty solid hang from AJ Finney.
First night at the hang was so much fun. Like getting to meet so many comics. David Lewis and I had a good hang. Kyle, was it Kyle Ruff? I think from
Kyle
Steamboat?
Ruff, yeah, volunteer from Steamboat Comedy. You got to get out there and do some of his shows.
I really want to do that. He's asked me a couple of times, and I want to go out there so bad. And he said the summer's almost booked, and I was like, that's fine. I was like, I would much rather come out in the winter and do some skiing also.
Oh, nice.
But yeah,
I didn't realize you skied.
Yeah, so a little bit. I started skiing like when I was in Missouri when I grew up there, but this was the first year. I got a Loveland pass and was determined to go out and kind of get some runs in.
That's awesome,
first time down the hill, my thighs burned so bad. I was like, I think this was a mistake. Like I had no idea how everyone has to get ski legs, and I just took a few runs and I was like, I don't think I can do this.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Yeah, quick shout out to our volunteer staff program. If you want to be a part of the festival, but maybe you're not a world-class touring comedian like AJ Finney going to exotic places like Tampa Bay, Florida, you can volunteer for the festival and get one of these cool hoodies. And it was a lot of fun. We had a great time as a staff, and I just want to thank everybody who worked on the festival. They knocked it out of the park and did a great job. So
yeah, also, like everyone, the town really got behind everything you were doing. Like everyone was so nice. Every venue we walked into, when they saw we had a lanyard on, they were like, hey, welcome to Vail. And this is embarrassing as someone who's been in Colorado since 2016. I've driven past Vail several times. That was the first time I'd ever been in Vail Village, and I will absolutely go back. Like it was.
Isn't it a cool place? It's magical.
So cool. Yeah, it really is. That little bridge that kind of takes you into everything, and the river running through there. It was just so beautiful.
Yeah, it was really pretty. Gore Creek and the covered bridge. It's just great, and all the venues are close to each other.
Yeah.
And the other thing,
the George was. I mean, that was where the big hang was the first night. Like,
yeah.
What I will never forget that. Like the
such
riff,
a fun place. I ran into the owner of the George the second night of the festival, and pretty sure, little secret here, wink wink, keep it quiet. We're gonna do a show there next year's festival.
Oh, that'd
at
be
the
awesome.
George. Yeah. So that'd be pretty
also,
cool.
Just want to say, Mark, wink wink, secret on a live video might not be big secret.
Here's the trick, AJ. Nobody's ever going to watch this. So it doesn't really matter. No, we'll get 12 to 18 views on this over a couple years. It's going to, they'll pile up. My mom will put it on repeat. So, okay. So you get to the festival, you find your lodging. You shout out to Manor Vail, also another great property in the Vail Valley. Just gorgeous from what I heard. I didn't see the room, but would you want to share anything about it? Was it
it was
nice
great
place?
Yeah, the place was wonderful. I mean the whole thing. I was running around so much. By the time I would fall asleep, I was so wiped. But the hotel was great. Both places where Zach was staying was awesome too. Again, everyone was so nice just when we showed up to the lodging. And again, I think I said this before, but the gift bags, like, thank you like, that was wonderful, whether they were sponsors or whoever gave us like the water bottles and the shirts and the candy trinkets and the discount.
Rocket Fizz candy. Those are all over the country, but go visit the one in Vail. Adam Pena, shout out to him. And Proud Source water. That water was great for the whole festival. They get every badge holder got an infinitely recyclable aluminum bottle of Rocky Mountain water, thanks to Proudsource. They were our sustainability partner. And shout out to Brooke, another volunteer. She and I, we put together those gift bags, and those take forever. It doesn't seem like a lot of work, but you got to make 30 of them. And you got to drive them around to the hotels. It takes some time. So that's not very, very welcome to hear you say thank you. I appreciate that gratitude.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so let's get into some stage time stuff. That's a big part of a comedy festival. Tell us about some of your spots.
So first night, I was hosting the Fiverr.
Okay. I think that was at Cucina.
It was at Cucina, yeah. And man, I felt bad. Like I'm really.
Uh-oh. We may have lost AJ there. His phone may have died.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, there we go. He's back. All right. We're talking about the Fiverr, and oops, he's gone again. We'll get him back in a second. It's just
it's an odd thing where all of a sudden it's like, do you want to tell this story? Have you not been embarrassed enough in your life? And the technology, AI is going, hey, come on, just breeze past it.
Oh, geez. All right. Well, once he gets this resolved, we'll talk about Cucina. I will say that I saw AJ host at the Fiverr, and it was a fun show. It was a good time. Like he was saying, everybody was so nice at the festival. All the pass holders, hundreds of them, who just moved around like herds of laughers. Because we don't do overlapping events. So you go to one show, you get like an hour break in between, you go get a drink, get some food, and everybody's navigating over to the next place, which is like a 3-4 minute walk away. I wonder if I should.
Okay. There we go. Sorry, I have no idea what that was. Like just immediately.
It's overheating. His device is melting. But there's no editing, so this is all part of the live from Vail Comedy Festival experience, everybody.
Yeah, what a doozy. So that first night, I pride myself on trying to be at shows.
Oh boy, AJ's gone again. You know what? I'm gonna try and maybe we'll speakerphone him in. Can we try that? Let's see if I think I have AJ's number. I'm just gonna call him. And you can look at my beautiful face for the rest of the episode. And
hello?
Hey, buddy, you're on speakerphone, and my laptop microphone will kind of pick this up. How's that sound? We'll just land this plane.
Yeah, that's good. I'm really sorry. I don't know exactly what happened.
Don't worry about it. We'll skip right past it. Maybe he's back. We'll leave those.
Back, but if the audio is still going to take, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not real sure.
Okay. All right. Let's skip past that first show and go on into. I think you also performed at Aviator Nation, the late night show.
Yep. Aviator Nation was amazing. So much fun. I didn't get the girls' names, but the girls that owned it and was running it, so they seemed so grateful, and they got involved in like the hang. I got several photos because Nick Holmby, the guy who was taking a lot of the photos.
Yeah. Dude, IDK creative. Everybody check him out. He is incredible. Like I'd say a significant portion of the Vail Comedy Festival's success is due to how beautiful and gorgeous the photography is of the festival. And that's all Nick Holmby. What a guy.
I remember hanging out at the Aviator Nation, like watching the show. And, they got the downstairs where all the clothing is, where you try stuff on. And that's kind of where the green room was. And I was hanging on the stairs listening and watching the show that first night. And Nick had given the owner the camera. And so
by the way, that was not the owner of it. The Aviator Nation owner is like one of the richest people in America, I think. That was like the manager of the place.
Okay, the manager.
Yeah.
They gave the manager the camera. And boy, was she having fun. I got photos. Because I just remembered her going, oh, that's a cute one. That's a good one. And it was just like, you could hear it going. I'm like, how many photos are you taking in one clip?
It's like Sports Illustrated out there.
Yeah.
Oh.
She legitimately got some good ones because he sent me 3 shots. And from
that's
that
great.
hallway, I was like, oh, that definitely was that night because one of them is Nick and I together.
That's so cool. I have a big treasure chest of photos from the weekend. So if you need any others you're trying to track down, let me know. And yeah, Nick's the best. Nick Holmby, everybody. Dude, IDK, creative. It's Dude1DK on Instagram. He's incredible. Okay, so you did that show as well. We talked about the hang a little bit, but talk a little bit about some of the comics you were excited to see that maybe you knew already.
So honestly, Dustin Chaffin was one, because Dustin and I were on Bob and Tom together years ago.
Cool.
And so it was funny, I didn't recognize him at first when we were at the lunch the first night. And he was like, Dustin. I was like, Dustin, and he goes, we were on Bob and Tom together. I was like, oh yeah. And so it was fun to see him and kind of catch up. Brad Sativa was one.
Okay.
That, I'd heard his name before, but I did not remember ever seeing him, and I knew he'd been through Colorado. And yeah, he was a lot of fun. Also, not only just fun there, but fun on the podcast as well, and his sets were great.
Yeah.
And right after Vail, we both ended up in Bloomington at the Limestone Festival. So it was kind of neat to literally be with people for multiple nights, like festival hopping.
That's so cool. Sal Mazzacchi was there as well, right? Did both of them?
Selma was there. Elon was there. Gabby. Like, Colorado was like 5 or 6 deep in Indiana.
Nice.
It was pretty wild.
That's awesome.
Rob Hayes was another one that Rob and I had met years ago in Atlanta, I think, at the Laughing Skull Festival, and had hung out just kind of in passing. So it was nice to get to know him a little bit better.
Cool.
And the people that I didn't know prior, like Leah Bonema, I didn't know. Such a wonderful person.
So great.
Not only funny on stage, but just a real treat to talk to. Carmen Lagala was also like wonderful on the podcast, wonderful to talk to just on the streets and hang out with. And I mean, just destroyed on stage.
Yeah.
Like, what a pleasure to watch her. So many people.
That's great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, let's get into it. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, Matt Benjamin was another one. I think that's who it was. Out of New York.
Yeah, so funny.
Never met, but just I watched him twice, and both times I was like, man, this guy's a machine.
Yeah, he's so good. I don't know if you saw this joke, but I talked about it in the episode with him. That's all I gave away. It's one of those jokes I'm just like super jealous of, and it's just so good. He's so funny. Matt Benjamin, everybody.
He was so good about like the first night that I had that show at
Cucina.
If the AI is going to allow me to talk about it, he did like so many amazing little riffs, and it was so good how he just played with the audience. And that night when you called me up, I felt so bad because I was in the bathroom and just was so out of it because of the caffeine and just loopiness. D Kelly came down and goes, "Aren't you hosting this?" And I was like, "Yeah, I absolutely am." He goes, "I think the show's starting." I was like, "Yeah, soon, right?" He goes, "No, I think it has started." I was like, "Oh no!" And I just went running up the stairs from the bathroom. And by the time I remember you called my name and you were like, "Are you ready?" And I was like, "Can I have a minute?" And it took every bit of 3 minutes to get my heart to slow down from the altitude.
Well, that's a lesson for any future hosts on shows. The shows start on time at the Vail Comedy Festival.
Yep,
so plan ahead. All right. So anything, you've been to a lot of festivals, just Limestone, very prestigious festival. Anything we can improve in future years if some of your funny friends come?
Oh, man. I feel like it's good. The issue I have with every festival that is so hard is like, I feel like you guys have a pretty good merger of like when something ends and something begins. Like there's not a whole lot of crossover. That's the hardest part about any festival is if you have like 2 or 3 comics that you want to see and they're all on and it's at the same time in different venues, it's a real mess because people are constantly bouncing.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. That's one of my biggest annoyances with festivals. And as long as I can, Vail Comedy Festival will not have overlapping events. as we grow, it might become a requirement, but year 1, year 2, no overlapping events. You don't have any FOMO. You can always go to every single event. There's 20 plus comedy events over the 3-day weekend, and you can go to all of them. Cool. Anything else that was different and good about Vail Comedy Festival?
Yeah, I wanted to bring this up because I've had this situation in contests before, and it was talked about a lot, and I know a lot of people got worked up about it. But the whole thing about try not to repeat material or set up good sets. Now, if you're a headliner and you're doing 20 plus minutes, sure, maybe you're going to have an opener and a closer that's the same, but you can mix up the center. And I took that into the Limestone Festival this year. It was so great where it's like, I don't want to just do my top 10 minutes. I want to do a 10-minute set here. And then on my next one, I don't want to do the same 10. I want to make sure I do a different 10 that is at equal value of what I did the first time.
Right.
And everyone at the festival has it. Like, that's the thing.
Yeah.
You have 20 to 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Most everyone on the festival is a middle. So, yeah.
That's a great, I love that note. And just to give people some context, because it's a little behind the scenes, it's only the comedians see this really. Last year, one of the few complaints we got from any festival goer was that they saw the same joke several times because we don't overlap shows, and some audience members go to every single show. So this year we made a rule or a suggestion, whatever you want to call it, and told all the comedians you cannot repeat material. So if you're a comic watching this and you want to apply to the Vail Comedy Festival, you may get 10 to 20 minutes of stage time, and you need to have 10 to 20 minutes of unique material. You can't just do the same 4 times.
Right.
At the
yeah. Such an honorable way to do something because it makes the comic kind of work and think about what they want to do.
Yeah.
And it allows the audience to see something different. I mean, that was something that was suggested at Limestone as well. They were like, everyone here that is being brought in that's not a headliner is seen as a feature, so you should have 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's the way I look at it. Anybody, almost nobody got more than, like, let's say 23 minutes of stage time. And I figure everybody is doing 20 minutes for paid audiences at comedy clubs that's at that caliber of getting into the Vail Comedy Festival. And so it shouldn't be a big issue. I mean, some people, they want to do only their best stuff. And like you're saying, getting out of that comfort zone is there's some value in that.
Yeah. And who knows, even if you're in a position where you find yourself either working with the audience or riffing a little bit, you may actually run into something that, that allows you to pick up something that's brand new that will always bring you back to that festival. I mean, you find a new tag or something, or an interaction with an audience that just makes its way into the act. Like, it's at the end of the day, a lot of people get stressed about rules and regulations with stuff. And I think once you kind of get past that, you forget, hey, we're also just here to have fun.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
Cool. All right. Well, we got to wrap this up. This has been another terrific episode of Live from Vail Comedy Festival. I had a couple tech issues, but AJ, you're such a good storyteller and so interesting, and you have so much experience. It was really an honor and a pleasure to have you at the festival.
Yeah, I had a wonderful time. I'll always remember it. And Zach and I have talked about it several times. Like, we would love to come back and do the pod. That venue was so great.
Awesome.
And it was just so fun. So
cool. So everybody, Vail Comedy Festival is every Memorial Day weekend. If you're a comedian, you can apply starting November 1st in year. If you want to get a pass and be an audience member, it's January 1st every year. Get in early because the prices are lower. And check out some more episodes of Live from Vail Comedy Festival. Thanks again to AJ Finney. Check out his pod, Hippie, Not Hippie, with the hilarious Denver comedian, Zach Moss. And who are you on Instagram, AJ?
You can find me at AJ_Finney.
All right, perfect. All right, on Instagram, check him out. VailComedyFestival.com for all the other info. Everybody have a wonderful day. I'm going to try and end this thing. My computer is also melting down. So we'll see how long this takes.
The extended goodbye.
Yeah, so we're gonna well, I don't think it's even gonna let me stop the recording. It said, oh, here we go. All right, I freed up the button that said you're completely out of disk space. Your computer is running on fumes. All right, here, now it's ending. All right, bye-bye, everybody.